What time is it?
Hello, everyone. Welcome to What Time Is It? And I want to give a big shout out to all of you. Thank you for taking the time. Thank you for taking the time and watching the introductory video. I want to give thanks to everyone that supported, that liked, that shared, and subscribed. And if you don't mind, I would like for you to give the thumbs up, like, share, please subscribe. What it does is it helps the channel do well, and we do want the channel to do well. This is a positive zone, and we are doing positive things here. We've only just begun. And so I want you to get to know me a little bit better. And how you get to know me is get to know some of my family members that are very, very dear and close to me. So what time is it? It's time for you to meet Alan Javon. That's my oldest son, who was born 28 years ago, 2.5 months early. And the reason why I would like to share his story is that I hope that something in his story, in this video, would help somebody that might be going through this, or they might know someone who might be going through a similar situation. It's really Alan's testimony. So he was born 2.5 months early. He was only 2 pounds. It's a July baby. He wasn't supposed to be born in July. He was supposed to be a September baby. But needless to say, he was born early. We had to do an emergency C-section because there were complications. I had developed some complications. And needless to say, there was a great deal of medical concerns. There was some touch and go at some time during this 2-month period of him spending in the neonatal. It was probably the most overwhelming experience that my husband and I have ever experienced, or at least in the top 5. But needless to say, all of the medical complications and all of the situations, because no one ever plans to have a child 2.5 months early with, medical complications and terminology that you don't even understand. God has brought him through. And then, there were, a lot of developmental delays. And then later on, maybe about 2.5, Alan was diagnosed with autism. Now, autism seems to be very rampant. For some reason, when I was coming up, autism wasn't anything that I never even heard of the word autism. But now, it was like maybe one in, I don't know, like 10,000 people were diagnosed with autism. And now it's pretty rampant. And so it is not the end of the world. It is challenging, to say the least. I won't minimize it, because there's no blueprint. And so everyone has to share their story and embrace others that may be going through it. And so what I would like to do is just give you 2 points of advice. The advice that I would give you is to pay attention to your child, pay attention to what their strengths are. It is very evident to see what their weaknesses could be, and you want to try and, work with that child to get the weaknesses addressed, but find out what the strengths are. And as a parent, you can, or even a caregiver, or even, aunt or uncle, you can realize there's sometimes that people don't even realize that children should be tested and have, special services to help the child and nurture the child. And so be aware of the children that are coming up. We have to look out for our children. Find out what their strengths are. What they like, what they gravitate toward. Alan loved music. He gravitated toward music at an early age, and I saw that he had rhythm, that he could clap on beat at church. And so that's what I kind of encouraged him with. And so I went out and I bought his first drum set at 2 years old, that Christmas, for a Christmas present. And everybody thought I was crazy. I was buying this 2-year-old a drum set, but he excelled at it. He did really well. And I ended up having to upgrade his drum set as he got bigger. And so I would say just make sure that you're paying attention to what your child, is really gravitating toward. It's very, very important as you want to, nurture this child. The other thing is to make sure you have a really, really good support system. Now, most people do have a really good support system, mother, father, church family, grandmother. He has mom, dad, grandmother, younger brother, grandpa, family and friends that support him. But beyond that, it's really important that you have a good support system, educators, neighbors, people that really can see beyond a diagnosis. We met Dr. Sobel when Alan was in elementary school. And this woman, I don't even really begin to explain how God really sent Alan and put Alan and Dr. Sobel together. But she noticed, and she's a music teacher, and more than that. She noticed he jumped on the drums because he's used to drums because he has it at home, and she noticed how he played, and she noticed his ability, and immediately saw something in him. And so, that began the journey with Dr. Sobel and Alan. But this is my village. She's part of my village for Alan, because it really does take a village, especially if you're going to, raise a special needs child. And so they have done many things together. So don't dwell so much on the diagnosis. We know what the diagnosis is. I don't dwell too much on the diagnosis. I just continue to nurture him as an adult, and make sure that he's happy and that he's growing and that he's learning, and that's what he's doing. So I think that's all I want to say. Alan is currently still taking drum lessons. He is learning. He also knows how to play the marimba, which is a fancy xylophone. And he's learning how to play piano. He takes piano lessons. He still takes drum lessons. He is in drumline, and he is learning how to play the acoustic guitar. But all of this is just to encourage someone. And I just want to introduce Alan to you. I want you to stay tuned. In upcoming videos, we will feature him playing the drums, playing the piano, playing the guitar. I also would like to introduce you to Andrew, my youngest child. And we're gonna talk more about Victoria's Fragrances. I want to introduce you to Victoria's Fragrances. There's some products that I want to tell you about. I want to take you to Healthy Living with Victoria. I want you to understand how I feel about health and wellness, and how important it is, and how I want to share it with everyone. And stay tuned to What Time Is It Productions, where we're going to give you some theatrical things. We're going to give you some short videos, some entertainment, some food for thought. Okay? So if you haven't already, please subscribe. It gets better from here. I'm just taking the opportunity in these first videos for you to get to know who Victoria is, and hopefully What Time Is It Productions, or What Time Is It, this page will encourage you and enlighten you. In the meantime, be well, and we'll talk to you next time. Thank you.